I feel all the creative stuff inside my head. And if I let it out, I feel so much more balanced. It feels like I have to release the creativity.
It's true. Like your inner gifts are always going to be knocking on the door, waiting for you to do something with it. And they won't let you at peace until you make space for them, because once you make more space for them, they will show you new ways you are actually looking or seeking today. Welcome to the inner space. This is for you if you need encouragement to be more yourself and explore your own path. Maybe because you feel different, too sensitive, or just not able to do things as everyone else seems to. There is a way, and it's your unique way. I'm Gloria Jensen. I am a coach, a healing artist, and a surfer. I am here to help you ride the waves of life, work, and business to find that deeper alignment with your creative and sensitive soul. If this feels like you, I invite you to know yourself better, feel all the emotions, and trust yourself, so you experience the freedom and fulfillment of being and doing you. Subscribe now to catch the next wave to the inner space, where authenticity sets you free. This episode is for you if you are living a gap between your inner world and your outer experience. You will hear how I coach Lara, who exactly come for that reason to this coaching session. She describes how rich is her inner life as a person who is highly sensitive. She talks also about the topic of giftedness, how creative she is, intellectual, this depth, all these needs that are fundamental for a gifted person, for a highly sensitive person. And as you will hear, you don't need to be identified. I would say if you already relate to these needs, then make them be a major thing in your life. And then her outer experience of the world, whether it's when she works, when she studies, the people she's talking to, she feels the gap. And it's hard because if you live that every day of your life, because we go to work every day, we meet people every day, then you feel constantly, you are reminded of the incoherence between what's inside and what's outside. You feel that there is a lack of harmony, and that makes life really hard, actually. And we'll talk exactly about that after, as you will hear me coaching Lara. So I would say if you need to bring more coherence between what's inside and what's outside, this episode will give you many insights. This podcast is called The Inner Space. So we dive inside so that we can flourish then outside. Lara is a manifesting generator, profile 2-4. You can always create your own chart online just by taking your birth information. It's funny because in one of the previous coaching sessions, which is episode 21, I'm coaching Aline. She's also a manifesting generator, and I had said, oh, I didn't have many manifesting generator, and now again another one. It feels like this podcast is going in sequences. I had a series of projector, episode 12, 14, 16, and now I have 2 manifesting generators already. If you want to benefit from a session, it doesn't matter which human design type. That's not how I choose. Just fulfill the form that is attached. So like in the show notes, I can then see if you are fit for the podcast, and you can benefit also from that free recorded coaching session. It's a very precious opportunity. If I would be you, I would jump and take it. And I'm looking forward to meet you on the other side. So yes, she's a manifesting generator, profile 2-4. You will hear about manifesting generator. You will hear about giftedness also generally, about what's a line 2, what's a line 4. So even if your profile is not 2-4 but has a 2 or a 4, you will get insights. And just beyond, because many of the questions I ask her are also deeply human and not or beyond your human design type. I hope you will enjoy this episode. If you do, share it with friends, share it with me, comment. All of that is super helpful so that we spread it more and support more people. Thank you so much. Welcome, Lara, in the Inner Space podcast for this coaching session. I am Very curious to start with your situation and what brings you to today's coaching session.
I actually listened to your podcast and I was super intrigued because I recently got into the topic and I just want to learn more about the topic and meet people who have more knowledge about this and see if maybe I can identify or anything. Yeah. So I'm super curious and excited for today.
And when you say about the topic, I guess it's one of
Yeah.
my specialty that you're talking about, which is giftedness. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell me more, like what would you like to get support around today?
I'm not sure if I fall into the category, but everything that people say about this topic, I feel like I can identify with it a lot because I always had this kind of nagging feeling inside of me that the way my brain works completely different from everyone around me. I'm very good at adjusting myself to my environment. So I feel like nobody knows me or nobody knows how my brain works. Nobody knows my inner world. And it's a lonely experience. I'm a very sociable person. So I think from the outside, it looks like I can get along with everyone. And I'm basically like a social chameleon. Like I would say I have a lot of emotional intelligence and I'm like highly functioning in life. I don't have any problems whatsoever. But it's so isolating not having people who you can speak about also in university. Like it's not what I expected it to be. It's so annoying when your brain works this way. And I feel like university is also just not made, or at least my university is just not made for me. My work is not made for me. And other people don't experience the same problems. They're always fine with it. And I feel like I'm always alone with my struggles.
First, I want to acknowledge the feeling you are having. So you said you discovered that topic of giftedness and it's opening new doors for you. Probably a feeling of, okay, now I get a feeling of belonging that I didn't have before. What do you hope from diving deeper into that topic? What do you hope to get from that?
I hope to get understanding on how to make the difference between my life and my authentic self as small as possible. Because right now it's a huge, there's like a universe between my inner world and my outer world. And I'd like to make this gap as small as possible. I know it will always be there, but I feel like acknowledging it, learning more about the topic already has led to so much more acceptance. Because even though from the outside nothing changed, my life is still the same. Just knowing about this, putting in, it's like naming an emotion. It really helps just accepting that this is the way it is. And also what many people say, because I struggle a lot with finding my people. I like so many books have talked about just listening to podcasts, reading lots of books, which I was doing anyways. And it really helps just like immersing yourself in the minds of other people who maybe think similarly. So this helped a lot.
I love already how you phrased this gap between outer world, inner world, and how you can like diminish, reduce as much as possible that gap so that you feel more coherence, I guess, between what you have inside and what you see and experience outside. It's really a beautiful way of phrasing it. Can you describe me like both sides? And you can start wherever you want. Like, how does your inner world look and how does your outer life look like at the moment? And especially where we sense the gap.
So I want to start with my inner world and maybe even I want to go back in time. So ever since I was a child, I was incredibly imaginative. So I always had like words inside my head. I used to spend all my time in the library reading books, and like my mom would drop me off in the library and I would just read books, draw, write stories. Like I was so imaginative as a child. And then when I grew up, I mean, my parents are immigrants, so I got pushed into the, no, do something real. Art degrees is for people who are privileged. So I dismissed this and started getting a bachelor's degree. And I've always felt like the topics I wanted to talk about, nobody resonated with me, at least none of my peers. I always had older friends, like if like when I was in school, I remember being friends with a professor I met on the beach somewhere in Germany, and like we were still talking. And I just thought conversations with my peers were so boring. And I also never fit into the school system because I could not understand there are always right and wrong answers. So never really had anyone to talk about like the podcast that interests me, because every time I tried talking about my interests, like I love physics, I love space, I feel like nobody has the same interests as me. I have in my life met maybe 3 people who I could talk about stuff like this. And now in university, it's the same, because I don't really get any satisfaction from just talking randomly to random people. I hate these shallow conversations. I think this is also very normal. And even with my job, I work in sales, and it's a very shallow field of working, which is not intellectually challenging at all. And of course, it attracts a certain type of personality, and usually not the creative, intellectual kind of people, maybe even the opposite. So it just feels like my life is not aligned with my inner world. And I don't even need my job to be aligned with this. But I want to find a few people who fulfill this desire, or even, it's not even a desire, I think it's a basic human need to have the sense of connection. And I'm incredibly picky with this. So, yeah.
And what do you see needs to change? What can you do about it to reduce that gap and to make these connections you are looking for?
I think the first step would be to change my circle of friends, or maybe widen the, get to know more people, because then the probability increases of meeting somebody who's like-minded, I guess.
I'm curious, as you say that, with your current friends, because you said before, probably people are not aware of my inner world. Like, how much do you share what's closer to your heart with your current friends?
I always share what's going on inside of me, but I also learn very fast. If I realize that nobody's interested, or that people don't even understand what I'm talking about, I'm not going to talk about it again. But I try with everyone. And usually everybody fails the test, basically. So I know what I can talk to with the people that surround me.
And just before you said, like, you met a professor on the beach and you're still in touch with that person. If you look at that experience, what have you learned from that? I don't know if it was a random encounter, like how can it teach you or give you like a path to make it happen more?
Be more open to get to know people who are outside of your social circle, because I think in normal life we wouldn't have met through, for example, student events or something, because he's a computer science professor and I'm studying business at a completely different university. So I feel like I just have to expand my network basically into other areas to be more disciplinary and not only look for people. Because I think maybe my frustration also stems from trying to like make friends with my fellow students, like my peers, but it's usually just business students who are the same age as me. And I think maybe this explains a lot.
Do you get satisfaction from your studies?
It depends, I would say, on a scale from 100%, I would say like maybe 30, but it frustrates me more than anything else because I have to do group work and I always have to explain myself so many times for other people to understand what I mean. To me, it's already clear, and then I have to explain it to everybody else. So for 4 times, and it's just so frustrating. Also, the learning tempo is so slow that I just open my laptop and read books on the side while my teacher is teaching stuff. And also the questions other students ask, to me, it's so incredibly boring because I feel like it's just not my tempo of learning. And also my mind is very interdisciplinary. I think it's very boring if people only know about one topic.
That's, for example, very aligned with your human design because you're a manifesting generator. And the manifesting generator is a multi-passionate being, if I make it very short. And the manifesting generator will not thrive having one area of interest and going deeper and deeper in only that area of interest, which is aligned for other human design types. But for the MG, if I make it short, manifesting generator, it's a lot about having that variety, whether it's in your work, whether it's in your studies, whether it's how your day unfolds. So like naturally what you said is something you can try to foster more so that you don't feel like, okay, I'm just in one lane the entire day and then I'm like, okay, this is it.
Yeah.
That can create frustration.
Yeah, it does. And that's so interesting because, yeah, I also am the kind of person that changes jobs, or at least I want to change jobs a lot. But right now, as I told you, I'm not really living aligned with my authentic self. So this is why I forced myself to stay in this job for already 7 months, which is a new record.
Mm.
Yeah.
I have a question. How did you choose to start these studies in business?
I'm studying entrepreneurship
Yeah.
because I thought that, okay, now I built the foundation of studying business. And when it comes to the creative types, they can also flourish in the entrepreneurship space more so than in other spaces, because there you can be interdisciplinary. You can build a startup from whatever topic interests you. You can dive deep, gain knowledge. Yeah, this was the motivation. And I really like the topic because it is so open, so it attracts so many different people from different backgrounds. It's just that the studies, I already know most of the stuff because it's based on like the basic literature on entrepreneurship, which I have read already, and so it's quite repetitive and super slow.
Yeah. And for that, that's where you can mix my two, I was going to say my two specialties, but I have much more than two. I'm also a manifesting generator. So I exactly know and experience on a daily basis need for variety and being multi passionate and bringing that, of course, for my clients. So now, if I just take two of them, human design, and then this knowledge and experience around giftedness. So if you mix both, and now I'm talking about you, it's okay. Gifted people are already quick, more advanced, like intelligence is about speed as well and about depth, seeking complexity, this need for complexity, challenge, new experiences. So that's already something giftedness is about. And then you add the human design type, which is manifesting generator. It's one of the human design types, which is a hybrid between what we call the manifestor and the generator. So two other types. And it's one of the quickest types in human design. It's incredibly powerful, and many manifesting generator, when they work with colleagues, with other people, will say, this person is too slow, this person is not working fast enough, or sometimes I'm impatient, this is not moving fast enough. So it's like you are combining with the two topics this need for, okay, I need something that goes fast. And I've seen that already. And yeah, I don't know if you understand how both are like supporting each other in the need for speed, depth, fresh new experiences. That's also very much about the manifesting generator. But you also find that topic in giftedness. So I can really hear you on that. And in terms of job, you said you are in sales. Is that satisfying for you? If you had to scale from 0 to 100%?
I would say maybe 20%. I am good at it, but sales is not intellectually challenging at all. I really love psychology, so I always try to like read psychology books and try them out on my goals. I try to make it more challenging for me or more interesting for me, which kind of helps. But nothing is something I would want to do forever.
That's also the manifesting generator. I love it. There is nothing I would do forever.
Yes, I've had a job. Like I usually am so good in it, and then the people don't want me to leave, but I feel the urge and the need to leave because I hate not having the sense of I'm learning something or I'm growing.
Yeah, and that's very much also like a key component for gifted people is you need every day to be learning, to feel like you are growing, and that's like a super key to be happy in your life. So if what made you choose sales? Did you had to take that offer?
I just came back from a big Asia trip and I just needed a job fast. So I just took the first, and I really like the company. I would say it's a super interesting company because it sits at the heart of the startup scene. And so I get to meet so many interesting people, visit many interesting events. So actually, it's quite nice. But I think the 20% satisfaction just comes from the fact that I've been there for over half a year, which is nothing, I know, but yeah.
Yeah, no, you've already outgrown where you are. What do you see when you hear yourself describing the situation?
I hear, okay, I need to move forward, but I don't know where. It's like I'm standing at a crossroads and my feet, like one foot is like still where I am right now, and one foot is like trying to go in every single direction, but then overthinking it and stepping back. And so I'm standing there not knowing where to go, but wanting to move forward.
Yes. What are the several directions that are possible?
So for me, the clear next step is starting my startup, because it's also part of the course. And I feel like this is a thing which would satisfy me because it's challenging and I can pick a topic that I want to pick. But I don't really know what startup to found because I have so many ideas. Like I have 5 or 6 ideas currently and side projects. I also wanted to be an artist a week ago because I also like to paint. So many things in my head. And then I think it all goes back to where can I find the people that are like me? Because there's a very strong need for that. So, like finding a profession that attracts people like this. Because I also don't want to found a startup alone. I would want to do it with somebody, but I haven't found anyone who thinks like me, where I think, okay, we could work together, because everybody else I cannot imagine doing this with.
I completely understand you coming back and back to the topic of your community, your people. That's again also part of your human design because your profile is 2-4. And the line 4 in human design is so much about your community, like belonging, your people. And in your business, that's a key information you can keep for beyond today, is your business will grow through your network. So there's this saying that you've maybe read somewhere, like your network is your net worth. Here, I'm really not talking in terms of, oh, how to make money, but really in sense of the fulfillment, the impact, everything will be much bigger, more success, the more you are doing that also with your community, your people. Your natural calling is correct. So just wanted to share that with you. I will go back to some of the questions you had. So one is okay, I have so many things in my head. You said I have 5-6 ideas. How many do you have in your heart?
2.
Okay. And we'll go with that. And later on, we'll come back to the question, where can I find my people? So can you tell me more about these 2?
Okay, no, it's 1. I lied. In my heart, I know that I just want to be an artist and I just want to paint forever. This is the one thing I would probably do forever. Yeah, because there's nothing that brings me more joy than losing myself in painting.
What do you feel when you are painting?
All the emotions that I usually push away, because in my daily life, I basically do everything to not feel because I'm also very sensitive. And when I paint, every single time I enter the flow state, so like I lose touch of time. I feel like I can shut off my brain for a certain amount of time, which is the best. It's like meditation. And also, I really like the result. I'm a very visual person. Like, I love beautiful colors.
How much time do you take daily for painting?
I cannot say daily, but weekly, maybe 1 hour.
Okay. Do you see the gap? Here is really, here it's a gap you can change from now. Like,
Yes.
okay, it brings me more than 100% of satisfaction. I didn't ask you because you already said this is everything for me. And it's 1 hour per week.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have all the activities which are like 20, barely 30% of satisfaction.
Yeah. It's very clear now that you said it like this.
What would be a desirable commitment you would like to do?
A desirable commitment to make some kind of art. Doesn't have to be painting, but I love every kind of art. Like, just getting whatever is in my head outside in some kind of way every single day. Because if I don't do it, it's like a stream of, if you imagine like the universe and like 1,000 things floating around and they don't have an outlet. And I feel like it's in my head and it's bothering me. I feel all the creative stuff inside my head. And if I let it out, I feel so much more balanced. It feels like I have to release the creativity.
I love that way to express it. And it's true, like your inner gifts are always going to be knocking on the door, waiting for you to do something with it. and they won't let you at peace until you make space for them, because once you make more space for them, they will show you new ways you're actually looking or seeking today.
That's very true. And right now, when you were talking, I sensed something in myself. And there is like this wish to be able to make this more the main character in my life, more so than like just a side character. Because I think now that you say it, I always feel this kind of jealousy come up when I see people that are full-time artists. Because honestly, who says what great artists?
I 100% agree on that.
Yeah, well, my path is very clear. I don't know why I didn't see this before. I think it's very effective.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you know that jealousy or envy is a very good signal saying, hey, I want this too, even though I might not admit it or see it, acknowledge it, honor it. But actually, it's saying, here, this is for me too. I sense this is for me, but it's not in my life right now. So let's close the gap if I keep the metaphor you used before.
Yes, I totally agree. Yeah, it's a very clear sign, and I don't know why I don't allow myself to do this. I think maybe this has something to do with some stories I have been telling myself.
What kind of stories?
I think like these were my first experiences in art. So every time I told my parents that I really like art, my parents, even though they loved me a lot, I know that they just couldn't really understand me and I couldn't really identify with them, and that they never understood what I was talking about. They never liked museums or anything. They always discouraged me from letting myself, I don't know, follow this path. Of course, every human still has agency, so I don't say this is the reason why this is, but I think this is the reason why I try to like tell myself, yeah, it's just not for you.
Mm. Which emotions come up for you when you share what you just shared?
And basically, I want to cry when I say this.
Try
Yeah,
to not hold it back if you
yeah.
can, just with your breath, because basically the emotion is there and she's saying, hey, can you just let me come out? Don't hold your breath. Please don't hold your breath.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. It's really sad for myself, but not in a bad, reminiscent kind of way. More so, I'm sad for this child that I'm letting it out, that just never really got accepted for who she was.
I have so many chills as you say that.
And I can also feel like how I think a lot of questions I have now about who I am and about what my life is gonna be, they wouldn't be there if I just followed my natural path. But now I find myself somewhere where I don't know where I am. So yeah, but I'm still young. I can still follow my passion, and now I'm a grown up. Nobody can tell me anything anymore.
Yeah, for sure, this is the right moment for you to be aware of it. And I know you have the power, the quickness, I want to say the speed to make the shift quite quickly. I feel it in your energy. It's just about becoming aware, and I feel you can already start from tomorrow and shift it.
Yes.
That's a gift to have that. It doesn't need much more for you right now than looking at it, feeling it, what you just did right now, taking a deep breath, acknowledging what you've experienced, and deciding, okay, this has been my experience so far, but now I decide to see myself, what you haven't received.
I will realign my life with my inner desires and interests. And I think a lot of the questions, they get naturally, like they just disappear. Every single day I ask myself, what would I think about this moment in my life if I was 100 years old? Like, again, I think that's also normal to overthink everything and look at it from all different perspectives. And every single time I think, I'm not the kind of person to just do something for the degree. I'm not the kind of person to just do something for status. My whole motivation for my being, for my doing, it's all intrinsic. I find it really easy to do things that I'm intrinsically motivated to, and really hard to do things like for money, or of course we all need some money to live, but like for me it's my main motivation really to do something for the sake of doing it.
I guess every listener, every client I have, we would all sign that. And exactly the experience you're having now is, okay, I know I have this intrinsic motivation. Like, what else can I let go of so that it becomes expressed outwardly?
There's so many things. I feel like now that I opened the bottle, there are so many things that want to be let out, because to me it was natural to just suppress everything and just to assimilate to, I guess, what is normal, what other people are doing, what my parents expect, what the world expects. But I am over that.
And there I can give you a question also, again, based on your human design that might help you. So I told you about the line 4, like you have this ability really to connect to people and this need also, but it needs to come from your heart. So that's why I ask, what's in your heart? So every time it's okay, how can I come from my heart? Because if you don't work with your heart, you won't have the impact, the connections you desire. So that's one thing I wanted to add to what I shared before. And then the line 2, because your profile is 2-4, the line 2 is really naturally talented. So that's why if you listen again to today's session, you will hear yourself saying, naturally, I see the path. Like, and that's also what can create jealousy from others. Is, hey, she never took a brush, but she's already able to do a drawing. I'm looking at it and I'm like, wow, it took me so much time. Some will look at you and saying, wow, this is amazing. And others will look at you like, I've already done so much and she's already able to do it from the first time. So that can create jealousy. So it's like for you to get that awareness. And the line 2 is also about projections. And you said a word a few times, which is expectations. So the question I want you to take away and use regularly is like, why am I doing this? Because someone expects that from me, my mother, my father, my friend, whoever, my teacher, and bring it one step further. Maybe it's you who thinks they expect that from you. So double check. Sometimes it's their expectation, but sometimes it's you projecting and thinking, okay, that's expected from me, so I'm going to behave in that way. Because I can imagine that even in the current circumstances you have, if you start showing more who you are, things or doors are going to open up that before you didn't even see.
It's so interesting. That reminds me of a movie I watched 2 days ago with my friend. Do you know Elemental?
No, I don't think I know it.
It's a Disney movie, and it's a girl that is going to take over the shop of her dad. And then he wants to retire and, yeah, like in an official ceremony, give her the shop. But then she finds out that she actually wants to be an artist. And she's so afraid of what her dad is gonna tell her, so she keeps it secret until she finally has this breaking point where is like in tears and tells him. And then he says, "I never wanted you to take over the shop. I wanted you to be happy." I thought it was very fitting. And then she just followed her own path of becoming like an artist.
That's a very good metaphor for what I explained before. Exactly. Yes, you can keep that story, that movie, and that exact scene. So it's asking yourself, whose expectation is that? Is it someone else's? An expectation that I invented myself? Maybe at the first time you're like, no, they expect that from me, but then maybe not. And then what do you desire? There might be these expectations, but it's outside. Come back to your heart, to inside, and me, like in this. How do I want to move?
Yeah, because nobody cares about how I live my life.
100%.
Yeah, it's true. Now that I think about it. It's so interesting how these things, like you're aware of them, but subconsciously, and you aren't really aware of them, like even though you know them somewhere in your head.
It's bringing them to the surface.
Yeah.
Then I want to see if the question is still there or if you maybe have already an answer. The question you asked before was, where can I find my people with whom I can really create a relationship that is satisfying?
Yes, I have an answer. And the answer is not here.
Okay.
And yes, I think every no brings you closer to a yes. So that's already a step forward.
Okay. And what's the second step?
Getting to know more people outside of this entrepreneurship bubble. And also, I think I prefer being friends with people who have already a little bit more life experience. These are actually my favorite kind of people because they are so wise.
Do you want me to give you one other key, to add one?
Yes, please.
Know that, and that's super valid, I would say, for everyone, but especially for generators and manifesting generator, is when you are in your most alive self, when you are in your passion, when you are in your flow, in your joy, in that high level of satisfaction, you become a magnet for everything you desire in your life. That's why when I support my clients, like I'm thinking about someone I supported in a job shift, that person was like really low in her energy. And I started to just tell her, focus on doing things that bring you joy. And the person was like, yeah, but it's not helping me find a job. I need one now. I need money to live. And I was like, yes, trust the process. You hired me. So just like right now, what would bring you happiness? Because that was really the key, bringing happiness and joy like 200% in her life. And for that person, it was bringing in many creative things, singing, dancing. She opened the door to things she loved but had put aside. So, of course, as you will do it for yourself too, like making more space for your creative side, the painting, going into that flow, your frequency, your vibration, your energy just goes up, up. And that is one way you are just operating on a new level of being, and that will automatically help to draw things to you that you desire. So that's one helpful information. And then very simply, you want to connect with people. That's something you've said over and over. When you paint at home by yourself, you have that state of flow, and that's a bit more the line two, which loves this moments of retreat. Almost I'm in my cave or I'm in my space, and it's called the hermit in human design. So you love that. But, and it's the stretch and the tension in this line two and line four is, but the line four is about being in the world with your people, with your community. So it might take a bit of, as you said, like getting out to also be with your people, even though maybe you like these moments by yourself, because at least, okay, here I know I can be myself, I'm safe, but like, how can I get outside in the world? And my immediate thought from the beginning, as you started to share, was like, okay, in your current university, at work, if you only have 20-30% satisfaction, it makes complete sense, like it's mathematical, that the people you meet bring you 20-30% satisfaction. I'm just making this number. If you go into areas where you already are at, I don't know, 70, 80, 90, 100% or more of passion, of interest, then there you will also find the people who have that level of resonance for you. It's difficult to keep on searching the connections in spaces where in themselves these spaces are not super fulfilling, because these people are a resonance and echo to that space.
Oh my God. That makes so much sense. That makes so much sense. And this explains why I find myself in these echo chambers of the same people over and over who are not what I'm looking for. But this sounds too good to be true, to just follow your natural, like where your happiness leads you and your satisfaction. And then you will also get the people who like resonate with you more.
Can you tell me more about this? Sounds too good to be true.
I think underlying is like the thought that life has to be hard in order to be worth it. There's like this learned belief that it just has to be hard for some reason, and I have to push myself through hard situations in order to prove something to someone. But maybe this is something I have to work on.
Exactly. And there I can go back to your human design as well. It's one of your centers. It's called the ego center or the heart center. It has several names in human design. It's completely open. And this can come sometimes in the shadows aspect with the unconscious behavior of I'm doing this to prove something, or I need to prove my worth. potentially I feel unworthy of what I desire for my life, for what I want. The gift frequency, if you change from shadow to light, so that shows you the way. The step you can start doing is, I am intrinsically worthy. I don't need to prove anything to anyone. I don't need to be, do, have to prove. So you can basically, when you do something, I said to you, ask yourself, is it what I desire, or is it an expectation I'm fulfilling for others? So that was more for the previous part I shared with you. Now you can add the question, am I doing this to prove something? To prove I am valid, to prove I'm worthy? Or do I believe I need to feel worthy to have something?
Yeah, this resonates so much with me because I can feel that this is a belief I have, that I constantly have to prove my worth to maybe even myself, but also others. And I also can see where this is coming from.
I can imagine then there are stories behind that can amplify that 100%, because that's how it works with human design. You have your own life experiences, because of course I tell you about the design, but your life experiences are amplifying it or creating the cracks or the potential changes. So I can imagine how what you've experienced, it's a bit like a hole, that everything that you really crash into it with your own experiences, and it's okay, shit, how do I move from there and how do I rewrite this? Of course, as maybe that's something you've already worked on, and there is also potential for growth. I help you because, as you said, like this belief is ingrained and I can't shift it like that. That's your feeling at the moment. What would be a first step that you feel you could start believing right now that helps you to move away from life has to be hard? Because just hear it again, life has to be hard. Is that true all the time?
Yeah.
When you are painting in the flow, is that true?
Then I'm constantly reminded of the fact that I'm not doing this for a living and that I have to spend the majority of my time doing other stuff.
And that's exactly how the brain works, is when we believe something, we start scanning the reality to confirm our beliefs. That's really basically how neuroscience will tell you the brain is operating. My brain thinks that, so I'm going to find anything that can confirm that. That's perfect. That's exactly how the brain operates. Again, I asked you the question, what would be a belief that you would like to start believing? That would be one step away from life has to be hard. As you said, like moving to life has to be easy is a too big jump for today.
The belief that I can live authentically to myself and in a very enjoyable way. Or that life is supposed to be enjoyed and not only to be working towards something you don't even want.
I can confirm life is hard when you work on something that is not aligned for you. There I can confirm you the belief will over and over be valid. Life feels and is hard when you are not able to be yourself, do what is truly aligned for you. Life feels hard because you are trying to push through it. And it's normal that it's hard because life is constantly saying to you, hey, there is something that needs readjustment.
Yeah, that's so true.
And I love the new proposal you have for your brain, which is, I can live life authentically in an enjoyable way. So if we go back to life has to be hard, now you can switch to that belief and maybe write it down somewhere, rephrase it if you need, write it in German if you need, whatever speaks to you. I can live life authentically, enjoy it.
I think I'm gonna make this my new mantra and just try to repeat it so long until I really believe it.
And also, of course, do the steps that will confirm that. So live life more authentically, for example, taking time to paint, experience the joy of painting. I wanted to add something. When you have this belief of life has to be hard, every decision will align with that belief. So, okay, if I don't enjoy my studies, it's normal, life is hard. If I don't enjoy my job, okay, it's normal. If I don't enjoy my relationships, it's normal. Like, life is hard. Everything, every decision you're going to take is to confirm that belief. So now that you have awareness, by introducing a new way of seeing it, you can see new options that will confirm that life can be enjoyed by being yourself.
That makes so much sense. I see how I confirm this belief with every action I take. And is it normal that you feel like there's no other way of doing things when you have these beliefs in your head?
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly, the brain is, it's you. I always like to give the example of, you are doing an order. Imagine you're doing an order on Amazon. You type in the order and then it comes exactly the order you've ordered. And it's the same with our brain. The order, even though you are not aware that you are doing, the order is, life has to be hard. And then everything, so all the shitty situation, all the things that will be confirmed, and you receive them over and over.
Wow, that's very annoying. And I still, like, when you say this, I cannot explain to you, but it feels like this is a lie when you say it doesn't have to be hard. I think it's very much ingrained in me.
Mm.
But that shows me that I have to work on it.
Yeah. And it's fine for now. Accept where you are at, because before moving into change, it's about accepting where I am at, raising my awareness, and probably over the next days, maybe weeks, you will see every time this belief is confirmed. So it's great. Awareness is rising, and it rises until you're like, okay, now I got the full behavior. Now, because I'm aware, I can now choose and decide differently every time. And start, what if, just with that question, what if life can be lived authentically and in an enjoyable way? What would I do today? How would I decide now if I believe that? Just imagining. You said imagination is a big gift of yours. Use it. And just with that exercise, you don't have to work hard to change the belief. Just do that exercise that I told you and see what life shows you. Because you do part of the job, life does the other part. And tell me how it goes.
I feel like now I'm not being held accountable. Okay, yes. I have a very, like, when I think about my future, I have a very positive feeling that something really good is going to happen. And I'm looking forward to the change.
That's a very good belief to have. That's supporting you.
Yeah.
This one we keep.
Yes.
We keep.
That's delete. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Oh, you are super welcome. What do you keep from today, from our exchange?
So much, every single word of wisdom that you said, but most of all, that I'm an artist, and I think I can, in my heart, I'm an artist, not a salesperson. And in the way that I create art, I can also create my life in a way that is not hard. And it's going to be more fulfilling and more satisfying than the way it is right now. And it doesn't have to be hard. It's there to be enjoyed.
Yes. Great. So then, wishing you all the best with that. Looking forward to see how it unfolds.
Thank you so much.
How was this new coaching session for you? What resonated with you? What do you keep from today? I really loved the moment where I asked her, how many of these projects that are in your head are actually in your heart? This was a very precious moment, you know, how Lara shifted from 6, 5 to 2 to actually 1. Very clearly dropped in. What happens if you ask yourself this question? Would love to hear it. If you've been a listener for a while of this podcast, you're used to it now. There is often an emotional moment in these coaching sessions. It's a good reflection of how I work, because we need to make space for that emotion. It opens up things also beyond the session. So I hope Lara can make more space for her feelings. I didn't jump on a few things she said, like when she said, I don't let myself feel. I can add it now, because if you are also experiencing that, not letting yourself feel, it's a major obstacle for feeling more alive in your life. Because if you don't let yourself feel, also the more difficult emotions, it's harder to feel also the more beautiful emotions. And I understand that immediate reaction as a highly sensitive person to say, let's just not feel at all, it will be easier. Yes, temporarily it might feel like a solution, but on the long-term base, it's not helping you at all. The best path is letting yourself feel and being able to move with your feelings. And if that's a struggle, know that you can learn it. I've learned it for myself. It's a key teaching and transmission I give to my clients. And there's such a fundament in your life, because if you don't know how to let yourself feel, then you cannot live on the earth, if I make it very simple. And I really say that with deep understanding and compassion. Me too, there are moments where I would prefer not to feel because this is so intense, this is so much. But know that you are designed to be able to go through that. And you can have tools, support, shifts in perspectives, also spiritual grounding, so that you can move with either more humor, lightness, compassion, understanding for yourself. So there are tools out there to help you. And once you commit to that path, you will also experience so many more emotions on the more desirable side. And that will bring you more aliveness. So yes, can you accept the part that is harder, so that you can live also the part that is beautiful? Actually, we have this polarity and it's part of life. Again, I say that and I live it, so I know it doesn't mean it's easy, but there are precious information in your emotions. The more you are listening to them, the more you understand the messages, the more you can adjust your life and react in a way that helps you, and the more they can also flow and move faster, so that you don't stay in these states. There also, I would add, depending on your human design, there are really two different approaches. So I would highly encourage you to get one step deeper. You know where to reach me. You have the possibility to book a call with me via my website, my Instagram account, LinkedIn, Facebook. Just type Gloria Jansen Coaching. You will find me easily, and just ask me if you don't find the link. I also want to add, as you've seen how we started with the topic of giftedness, and then we went more into the individuality and the specificity of Lara. It's a good perspective on how I integrate giftedness when I support people. In this podcast, I would say I don't talk explicitly about giftedness. I do it more on my blog. You have more than 60 interviews you can find on my website, which are super focused on giftedness and very helpful. Though for me, giftedness is a key component and understanding that you need, and it should not become a trap to live life more in victim behaviors. I say that with no judgment. I've been there. It's fine to go through that phase. But I want giftedness to be an empowerment for you and a key to help you move better with your life. And then we go more into your story and what's really there for you, so that you can thrive knowing that about yourself. As Lara said, it's a big piece of the puzzle to have more acceptance for yourself. And that's the big power, and why also I keep on supporting people around that, because that's the fundamental information that you need to allow yourself also to be more yourself and normalize behaviors that you might not see around you. If we would just approach that topic, which Lara needed support around, like belonging, community, if we just approach it from a giftedness perspective, then we have part of the answer, which could be yes, there are not as many people as you, like it's a lower percentage. Then we add into human design, like specifically I said, for what it means. And then we take it in a broader understanding, which is for everyone, is if you don't find your people, like where do you spend time, and where you spend time, is that a reflection of who you are? For Lara, it was very clear. She's trying to find connection to people who are not her people, because she's already not in the spaces or the environments that are most aligned for her. I'm sure as she implements today's sessions and takes more space maybe to be in spaces she likes, especially as an artist, as a painter, suddenly will find deeper connection. I can tell you that, for example, for me, as I took the path of coaching, then spiritual growth, and all the trainings I added on, suddenly I started to have deeper connection that I didn't have before I entered in that world. because that space I am working in today is connecting me to people who have the same mindset, the same approach to life. That depth of connection I would not have found if I hadn't followed my path. So that's why I can say with certainty for Lara, but also for you, that as you follow a path that is more true to you, you will find also that needed deeper connections, because we need that. We need to feel understood in who we are. We need to be able to be who we are and have resonance. It's a basic fundament for a happier life. So that's it for today. I see you in the next episode. Thank you for joining the inner space. Make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, or share it with someone who might need exactly this encouragement. And until next time, keep exploring your inner space, where authenticity sets you free.